probably don't need all these Ps. It's a good time to do 1v1s. We'll have to figure that out. Again, I just run low on time. So this is Clonetrash. He's a Junkrat, 2473 on King Chro, and we're going to see how he's doing. Well, we're waiting just for a second. Holidazing with the 613 sub. He says, "What up, Chro?" Also, Dosos with the new guy. Resub. Or resub, I should say. Okay. So far, so good, right? So if you're shooting at this point, I mean, you're doing good just laying down hell. But if you're shooting out here, try to aim for this. Right? Because if you're shooting here, if you don't see him coming through, it's not going to hit anyone. But if it hits this, it's going to bounce back and it's going to stop right in the middle for them to walk over. Yeah, like that. Just like that. It's like I told them in real time. Your upper right, you can hear a Genji. I think your Genji got above... Oh, there he is. There. So as you're pressured, you fall back here. I like this. So now they're coming left side. So yep.
My genius is finally recognized.
Oh. Yep. Outside of saying just dodge that, now what you can do. Is that another sub? Logmasters, thank you. There's a new guy. So remember to rotate your shots to where the enemy is going to be at. Don't always just stick it. Okay, that works. Getting rid of the mercy is important.
Oh god.
You got him. So at this point, essentially, when you're in hotel, you want to keep pressuring through hotel. As soon as they kind of look your way, you're like, all right, you caught me. You run out this way if they try to pressure you. And then you put pressure on the main. Usually they feint up here and then they go around this side. At that point, you can either pressure from this point right here, all the way over here. If you have a pick or two, or it looks like they're rotating in farther than they really should, like once they reach this point, you can try to rotate on them, around and over. That's the usual method I deal with. If they go far left side and take the high ground, then just pull out of the hotel and start putting fire down that choke point way up here. Way up here. So yeah, here you are. Hotel's the best place for you to harass at. I will say we need a bit more trap usage. Like right now, because that guy's going to charge or something. Ooh. Were you that low? Hold on, were you that? Yeah, you were. How did you get hit? Okay. So one thing, and this is just my personal experience, if you're not getting healed, it may be because like your healers just don't have the time. I think you're running solo heal right now. Go get the health pack. Like, don't worry about it. Don't blame your healers. They're doing the best they can. Yeah, you're running solo heal.
Oh god, oh god. Yes!
At this point, use 2 concussives right away. And this whole surviving part's a little bit excessive. So as soon as you got res on that point, accept your death. And your entire point is just to build alt charge as much as possible. Essentially, go out guns blazing, try to kill someone. If not, try to damage as much people as possible to get your ult so it's ready for the next fight. Who am I reviewing? The person's name is Clonetrash.
My genius is finally recognized.
Okay, for the 8-month resub, he says, yay! Maybe for the 8 months. Okay, good.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Throw the concussive above the Reinhardt's shield there. But yeah, good tire. And yeah, with the Genji, more often than not when you ult, they're going to pressure you.
Oh wait, why did I fall?
So, yeah. Oh, you heard a hammer drop. You should probably go out there and see if your team needs help.
I don't want to go and get in there.
Alright, now you gotta run. You gotta get out of here. Get the small health pack and then keep on fighting. So another thing to learn is you could have killed that Genji a couple times. You gotta know, it takes a while for you to understand Genji's hitbox, or deflect range, I should say. So throw it on a trap. Alright, cool. Get destroyed instantly, whatever. It's fine. It doesn't cost money for a reason. Detonate, get above. You can probably tire up here. I would definitely tire up here. Oh, it's probably a little bit too low. Or too late.
Wait, is it?
So, the way I see ultimates is that they are number equaling devices. Usually 2 kills. Or to greatly secure 1 kill. If it looks like your team is down a couple kills, then you can ult and get those 2 kills back to make it an even fight. From the kill feed alone, it looked like your team was losing that fight. So, that's why I was saying you should have ulted. Fall down instead of... Ooh. That's risky. You're alive, though.
Ah, goddammit, I wanted to get both, I got none.
Whoa. Don't worry about the mercy. Yeah, that's the whole... I've always said it multiple times before. Just you chase 2 rabbits and you lose them both. Just find 1 kill and take it out. Especially with the Roadhog. And as when that Pharaoh was attacking, I told you to retreat like down. You retreated in. That's crazy. Just remember to break line of sight or choke like small areas. That's a good jump. 1 good shot. Oh, you got her with the passive. That works. Was it even English? No, I think they were speaking something else. It's pretty good. Watch out for the Pharaoh above.
Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh.
Concussive mine. Alright, so as soon as you spawn, throw out a concussive. It's only going to increase your DPS. I've been noticing you've been holding concussion mines a little bit too much.
Oh well. Should not have checked. I fucked it. jump up.
Alright, this is fine. So here we go, we're attacking. Trying to push for space. They had a hog, so careful.
Oh gosh.
That's perfect. That's really good.
No, I saw the grenade.
So usually, and I'd say this for most of the time, unless the Reinhardt is pushing forward, throw the grenade above his shield. Or the concussive mine. If you throw it at the shield, it's just not going to do any damage. That's all there is to it. I say if he's walking forward, because if it hits the shield, it'll drop straight down, and it will phase through the shield at that point, if he's walking forward. And right now, I'm noticing you're not using concussive for mobility a lot. So you have that entire high ground to abuse.
What? God damn it. Fuck it. Oh gosh. Oh.
I mean, it worked. You got a kill. The Junkrat over-committed.
It got stuck
They
in
both
the
get
tree.
rinsed. Get above it. So with those, okay, so you're finally using concussive mine for mobility. Like, as soon as that went down, you should have mined up and either got shots from behind, the side, or something around this way, so that the Reinhardt has to turn his shield so the rest of your team gets damage. You're most likely not going to be able to burst down a Reinhardt shield while the Zarya ult is going off.
Revenge!
Okay. So there's a mini diva behind you. And she's full diva now. Yeah, so with that whole attack, I would say be more aggressive. And definitely use the flanks. Junkrat has mobility, you use it. Especially with the second mine, use that shit. You kind of ignore the entire right flank, and putting pressure on the right flank will get people to attack you. And that puts less pressure on the primary path, which means your team can get through that primary path easier. The mine was on the left side, I heard. Yep. So that hit told you someone was up there. You should probably jump up there to see what's behind you.
Oh god, no, 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 no. I wish we would have gotten more.
Get out of there. Yep. Perfect. I think overall, this is actually one of the points you need to work on.
Oh no.
You get a phone call. Is not assertive enough. So right now you can be getting to the high ground. You don't even know where the enemy's at. Alright, you just saw the enemy. You could have saw this a while ago. Yep, and then you pushed up. So you need to be a little bit more assertive, understand where things are coming from, and then start shooting there. So trap. Also, we're not seeing enough traps, but that's always. Okay, here, this is what you should have done in the first place. Stepping out that far is death. It's funny. So let's go back, actually. This is one of those rules where I would say, if you pass this line, you lose. You're going to die. Against a good soldier. So you have to do what you can from behind this door frame. So taking one step past here, I would consider you dead. A lot of people don't see things like this until... I mean, maybe Grandmasters may see it like this, but I don't think most do. You die once you get here. That's all there is to it. Yeah, and it wasn't like, oh, I didn't hit my shots. Oh, I could have done X. I could have done Y. It's like, no. You went past that. You're going to lose the fight. Projectile versus hit scan. That's all there is to it.
I will watch over you.
My ultimate is charging. The fail smoke. Get it.
Twilight, stop!
My ultimate is charging.
60 seconds remaining.
So sit in a choke point. There you go. No, you can alt when Zen alts, because once Zen alts, they're going to push forward. They're going to get that confidence from a Zen alt. The nice thing is Junkrat's alt doesn't give a damn about Zen alt. That's perfect. Yep.
30 seconds remaining.
So that's good. And if you notice, every time you have a success, it's usually when you use mindful mobility, and then you attack from that way. Loki nerd with 15 viewers. Host. Or restream. I wanted to say restream for some reason. But thank you for that. So with your ability, when you're attacking that diva, I don't mind that. Putting pressure on her, using up defensive matrix, just making her use resources is fine. Because if she depletes her resource completely, I think it's... Is it 10 seconds for her to get all of her defensive matrix back? Either it's 10 or 8 seconds. There you go. Now with that, they... Oh, I guess they have Diva.
60 seconds remaining.
But they don't have any high ground right now. They have 0 high ground answers. If you were to press up and get the high ground, there's nothing they can do about it. Okay, Diva's probably gonna kill. All right, so you blew it up early for the Diva. All right, and you know you fought with the Diva, and I guess that works sometimes. I was gonna say like you need to push up more at that point, but screwing around with the Diva removes one of their tanks. Again, trap. Trap. Oh. There you go. Focusing the Mercy a little bit too much. Even as a hit scan, don't focus the Mercy. There we go. A defeat. Perfect. That's what we like to see. So... Trap more. First of all, fucking trap more. No one ever traps enough. Position. Use flanks. And mobility. It's funny, before the Junkrat buff, the 2 concussive mines, I said Junkrat was the most one of the most mobile heroes in the game, and everyone laughed at me. They all said I was stupid. No, that was the truth when he had 1, and for the love of God, when he has 2, he is extremely mobile. His mobility is in bursts, so don't think of it as like a Pharaoh who can fly in the sky and hover. Essentially, if you want to get somewhere, you gotta use an ability. Bam, you get there, right? He does burst damage, he does burst mobility. Alright, he's up there, now you're stuck up there. That's what you gotta do. So use both of those to your advantage. Your first point attack and your third point attack, actually all of your attacking, you were very passive. Overly passive. At a certain point, you have to understand that you're playing a DPS class. And as that, you reserve the right to blow up anyone. Junkrat specifically, his 240 damage combo is his bread and butter. It's what makes him unique more than any other class in the game. If you can start landing those correctly, you can win games quite easily. But to do that, you have to press your advantage. When you have the advantage, press it. When you don't have the advantage, avoid their strength. Start doing that. So a bit too passive, and usually a safe way to be more aggressive is on the flanks. It's a little less hostile unless they have another person guarding the flank. Even if you don't want to do that much, King's Row, first point, you got the choke point. You were sitting way back here. You could have been shooting here and shooting on that in the alleyway, not the alleyway, but just this lane. From here, you would have to go up and over and shooting here. But you had the whole high ground. I can't draw it because I suck. But there's the whole high ground here, which gives you all of this. And even if they do put pressure, you can step back, and you can use the high ground advantage to shoot in this lane without even getting hit. Secondly, you have the flank out this window. So if they do start pushing back here, which is what your shots are meant to do, it opens up this flank. And that's kind of the idea. Don't think about Junkrat when you're hitting the shield as like you're just trying to break the shield. You're trying to push the enemy back to open up flanks. So once the team gets pushed back, then your team can go in this way. And before your team even does that, you can see you pushing them back so you can take the flank. Then you can move around to the next position and start pushing them back even more. Yada, yada, yada. This is kind of this is everything I do.
My genius is finally recognized.
But definitely this, just being passive is killing you. Information, sound as always. I heard that diva behind you. You didn't. How else can we say this? So you shot a grenade up, and again, grenades are good listening devices. You can understand if you shoot it around the corner, if you hit someone, you know. If you hit a shield, you know. You can figure out where people are at that you can't see. For in all intents and purposes, it's essentially like a sonar. At the first point you shot up and you discovered someone was flanking. Pressure that. 1, someone's on your flank. You have the advantage in closing areas. 2, you already hit them once. Now you have a huge advantage health-wise, more or less, unless it's a tank, which most likely a tank wouldn't be up there, and a tank probably would have absorbed the shot or defended against it. So you had 2 advantages. Press it. Again, passive. Press your advantage. I think your accuracy was fine. Just make sure to find lanes and shoot them. Use your long-range Junkrat more often, but then you used it a little bit too often on the last point. So it's a series of checks and balances. That's the problem with being if you want to take the advantage of Junkrat at long range and short range, you kind of have to deal with this middle part called mid range, which is where you're the weakest at. So negating this mid range or knowing when to go through this range is very important, and that'll come with time. Overall, if I had to tell you one thing, this passiveness. So start being a little bit aggressive. You're going to die a little bit more. Hey, that's fine. That's cool. Now you know not to be that aggressive. So dial it back at that point. But overall, I think it was good play. Bah! So next,